Hello, everybody. This is the Glenridge Minute for Thursday, July 23rd and Friday, July 24th. Here's the latest from the Glenridge. In case you haven't heard, the morning coffee service is back in the Thistle Stop. Come down and enjoy a nice cup of joe while you read your morning paper. You might find an old friend to catch up with, or you might even make a new friend. Now, I went down to the wellness clinic today and met our new nurse practitioner. His name is Doug Tidwell. He was very nice and very personable. His hours at the clinic are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 1, and Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 4. Now, you have to call ahead for an appointment, and the number is 552-5262. Now, believe it or not, even though it is nearing the end of July, we are already planning our September issue of the Piper, and you can help. We are looking for some new Piper staff members. If you have ever had a desire to be a writer, this is your chance. No experience necessary, and we can help polish anything you write and get it ready for the Piper. We are a fun group of folks, and we could really use your help. Call Jenny Martin at 552-5327. Now, Gary and Terry in dining asked me to remind you that the in-house groceries are only being delivered on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can call and place your order anytime, but they will be delivered on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Public shopping is still available on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Stop by Member Life for more details. Now, I also heard from Debbie in housekeeping that starting next week, we have to go back to the housekeeping service every other week. Between summer vacations and some folks out on maternity leave and all the extra cleaning that we are doing, it's just spreading her department a little too thin. So next week will be service for East Wing, West Wing, and the Cypress Building. The following week will be service for the Oaks, Palm, and all the club homes. And now we have a special session of our questions and answers with CEO Jim Cater, Director of Health Services Julie Irvin, and Social Services Liaison Montana Irizarry.
Okay, well, here we go. Today is the day that I've been predicting for some time. We finally have a positive test case of a member who's tested positive, and we want to talk about that situation a little bit. And I want to introduce to you Montana Irizarry. Sorry about that. And Julie Irwin. Montana is our social services liaison, and she's really the person that is the quarterback of any kind of care that's required in independent living during this COVID. So if you don't know Montana, you need to stop by. Her office is up on the mezzanine level, just close to Mac 1. Stop by and see her. Julie Irwin is our health services director, and I think probably most of you know Julie, and we're so glad that she's in charge of not only both the skilled nursing and the Highlands, but also now the clinic is under her responsibility. So what I want to do first is to ask Montana to briefly describe the role she plays on our team in this situation as social services liaison. Montana?
Thank you, Jim. As a social services liaison, I assist members with any needs they may have, whether it be going to the Carroll Center for a short stay, long stay, following up with members after an incident, or replenishing their vial of life. I have a wide variety of duties that I take under my belt and assist members with. I look forward to seeing you.
Okay, thank you for that, Montana. Maybe I'll get your name right next time we do this. Julie, if you would, describe our current situation as clearly and factually as you can as it relates to this member that's tested positive. what our team did this morning when we met, what our plan is, so that members can be assured that if they don't need to go to the hospital, we've got a plan that's going to work.
Okay. We had a member who tested positive, and we met as a director group this morning to come up with a clear plan to make sure that we not only keep all of the members safe, but keep a close eye on the member who has tested positive. We have each department that has some pretty clear responsibilities about what their role will be. The main role will be Montana and I. The health center and the clinic will be checking on the member regularly to make sure that they're doing well, to track their symptoms, make sure there's no worsening that requires further medical intervention. Dining will be making sure they get their meals. We will be doing all of the things that we need to do to make sure they're comfortable, safe, and doing well as keeping the members in the independent community at large safe during this time.
What would you say our desired outcome would be anytime one of our 400 plus independent living members do not need to go to the hospital but test positive? What is our desired outcome? What can our membership likely expect in the way of how long this is going to take and how long they would be quarantined and that sort of thing?
What would happen is once a member tests positive, we go back to the actual test date of the person. That's the date that the clock starts in terms of the quarantine or the need to retest. We are going to require that each member who tests positive receive 2 negative tests, and then they could come out of quarantine as long as they remain asymptomatic. We will be testing our independent members through our clinic once we get that set up, and that should be within the next couple of days so that we can obtain those test results quicker. And make sure that we get you back to as normal life as possible, as quickly as possible with those 2 negatives. But once somebody tests, they need to self-quarantine. If they have any symptoms at all, we would be tracking those, and the quarantine needs to extend 14 days from the time those symptoms stop. So we need to make sure that they are symptom-free and 2 negatives before they come out of quarantine.
So let's say that I live here and I in the middle of the night suddenly my fever spikes and I don't know what to do. What should I do?
You should press your pendant. Anytime if you have any symptoms of illness, press your pendant. You will receive a call. If you are somebody who is tested positive, we may triage those symptoms over the telephone before sending a staff member in. If we do send a staff member in, we will have them in full PPE to make sure that they're remaining safe and they can provide the care to you that you need.
And PPEs are?
Personal protective equipment. So our staff would have face shield or goggles, an N95 mask, gown, gloves, and likely shoe covers. So don't be alarmed if they come in your apartment looking like they're from outer space, but they are doing that to protect themselves, to be able to provide that hands-on care that you may need.
So, Montana, one of the things that the social services liaison has to be aware of is not only the member and how they're doing, but what about family? What role, if any, do we play with regard to family members if we're concerned that a member who's tested positive has a family and wants us to notify the family and make them aware? What do you do in that event?
In that event, I would contact the family as long as that individual is okay with it and desires that. Should the member decline that, fortunately we'll keep that safe and to ourselves. But it is totally up to the member as to who we contact family-wise.
So let me just say to our members that we're now in the 5th month of this thing, I think, and I think it's a tribute to not only our team, our staff team, but also the members that we're 5 months into this and we're just now getting a member with a test positive who doesn't really seem to have symptoms. They're asymptomatic. So I think we can all, to the extent that's a good thing to do, pat ourselves on the back. And I think it's really important that we remind ourselves. I hope everybody got the handout that we put in everybody's cubby and in all the club homes notice box, that it's so important to keep the potential of transmission down to a 1% level. And the way you do that is you don't wear your mask like this. When you wear your mask like this and your nose is sticking out, you might as well not wear your mask, because your nose is sticking out and stuff can come out that is infectious. And so whenever you see somebody walking around with their nose sticking out, tell them to cover their nose up, because it doesn't really do much good to walk around like this. So if anybody needs a new mask, I want you to stop by the front desk. We're going to have a supply of new masks out there that will cover both your nose and your mouth more fully than the initial ones we issued. And we just want everybody to be safe. I mean, everybody knows what our goal is. That's the outcome that we're after here, is to have as few of these cases as possible. It's entirely probable that we are going to have more. So let's just be prepared for that. And I think the closing thought that I think that Julie and Montana both agree, everybody just needs to stay calm. This is going to be okay, and we're going to work through it. We've got a great team here of 350 staff members who are here to protect and to keep everybody safe. So, but we did want to notify you today that we do have that first member testing positive. Ben, I'll turn it back over to you, and ladies, we'll put our mask back on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, Julie, and Montana. Great info. Since we can't do our regular birthday celebrations right now, we realized we have been missing out on a lot of folks' birthdays. So we are playing catch up. This Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. will be celebration for all the April birthdays. Feel free to stop by the Thistle Stop and have a piece of cake to celebrate, whether it's your birthday or not. Come on down and have some fun. And speaking of birthdays this week include Pat Dreffin, Jackie Schmidt, Carol Stevenson, Joe Faulkner, Richard Gallagher, Jane Karklin, Mary Manigold, Natalie Pearson, Kay Pizzillo, Milton Richter, Renata Sawyer, Jerry Singer, Maxine Vanderlind, and Joan Wall. Happy birthday to you all. Today's hat is on loan from Bob Enander. It is his captain's hat when he used to fly 747s for United. Thanks for the loan, Bob. As always, if you need anything, please call Member Life at 552-5298. Remember, it's up to all of us to get out of the house and flourish while keeping our campus COVID-free. So grab your mask, wash your hands, and come say hello to a friend. Bye-bye.